What fact do you know that makes people go, why the fuck do you know that? It's legal in a lot of countries, I think. The idea is that punishing someone in a survival situation is a really shitty thing to do, as they have suffered enough and coming out alive is more important. So because of this, a lot of places are hesitant on making it illegal, but they charge people with desecrating a corpse if, say, they dug someone up and ate them. It's a weird little loophole that protects people who have endured some of the worst situations imaginable. Idaho. Title 18 Crimes and Punishments Chapter 50 Mayhem 18 5003 Cannibalism Defined. Punishment 1. Any person who willfully ingests the flesh or blood of a human being is guilty of cannibalism. 2. It shall be an affirmative defense to a violation of the provisions of this section that the action was taken under extreme life-threatening conditions as the only apparent means of survival. 3. Cannibalism is punishable by imprisonment in the state prison not exceeding 14 years. Read more. Cannibalism is legal in Idaho. Tastes like pork. https://1043wocountry.com/cannibalism is legal in Idaho. Tastes like pork / source equals smclip and medium equals referral. Or maybe something like this. TL doctor, dude has foot and calf amputated after motorcycle accident, hospital lets him take it home. Because of religious freedom laws involving being buried whole, they have to do so on request. After calling authorities to confirm legality, he has his chef friend make fajitas with some meat from the calf, and his close friend circle agrees to try them. There's also enough laws around desecration of corpses and corpse possession that it's pretty much impossible to obtain and butcher a body legally anyway. So no real need for cannibalism-specific laws. The foot tackle guy. He and his friends ate his own amputated foot after legally getting it back from the hospital for religious reasons. Is a rare example of someone obtaining human flesh in a way that doesn't break any corpse possession laws. Since the cannibalism itself wasn't illegal in his state, the authorities just kinda let him do it. A terminal prion disease spontaneously emerged from cannibalism of brains, with an end-stage symptom being uncontrollable laughing. Onset of symptoms took up to 40 years, so cases were appearing until very recently, long after the practice was banned. https://b/mc0 Prion diseases are sorta like cancer, in that a cell defect causes it. In this case, instead of necessarily replicating out of control, other cells also become corrupted through contact, but not like a virus spamming its own RNA delivery mechanism. Thus it seems like a currently intractable type of disease that is incurable. Additionally, there is an illness called kuru, which can only be caught by consuming a dead human's brain. It is a type of transmissible spongiform encephalopathy and thought to be a prion disease. In other words, a disease in which the body of the person, who in this scenario ate the brain, replicates consumed misfolded proteins. If I remember right, it's legal in most places to eat a part of someone with their consent, but otherwise the means of acquiring the meat itself is illegal enough to not have to criminalize the consumption. Your friend has to get his foot amputated and both of you decide to eat it for whatever reason legal. You murder someone to eat their foot illegal because of the murder part. Probably not the best thing to admit in a publicly available setting, but I've always wondered how one would practice snapping someone's neck. You always see it in films etc., but I just assumed that, like with gun and knife target practice, martial arts training, and all the other necessary skills required for a spy/soldier/mercenary, they would have to do some preparation for it before being unleashed on a real person, unless it's just a case of go on, Agent X, now's your chance, followed by now, that hurt. Then scuffling noises, then a loud cracking sound, then well done son, took me 4 goes for my first time. I think I may be overthinking this. A coworker told me one day you'll know when it's truly the first day of spring because lake water will warm up and make any dead bodies in the lake float to the top surface due to bacteria, he continued with, except for in Lake Superior where the water temperature never gets warm enough to build bacteria in a dead body, and that's one coworker I'll never make mad right there. When Napoleon Bonaparte died in exile, they cut off his penis and gave it to the local parish priest. The priest later sold it to raise money for his parish, and it's been sold and resold down through the centuries, and to this day there are 3 people who claim to own Napoleon's penis. No one knows why this happened, and it's not the important part of the story. The important part is, who the hell do those other 2 penises belong to? If you sneeze when coming from a dark room into sunlight, it is because of a specific gene which is named AQ. I know because I have it. Autosomal dominant compelling heliophthalmic outburst, AQ, syndrome is characterized by uncontrollable sneezing in response to the sudden exposure to bright light, typically intense sunlight. Dolphins can fall deeply in love and develop relationships just like humans can. It has been recorded multiple times that when a human and dolphin, who have formed a strong relationships between them over a long period of time, are separated, the dolphin becomes so depressed that they will fully commit suicide by sinking to the bottom of their pool, lagoon, and refuse to come up for air until they drown to death. There's a bunch of these cocaine stories from 70s bands. Black Sabbath spent $75,000 on cocaine during 1972 while recording Volume 4. The Grateful Dead visited Aerosmith while they were recording, and Jerry Garcia said he's never seen someone do so many drugs in his life, probably talking about Steven Tyler or Joe Perry. Apparently in 1975 the Rolling Stones had access to pharmaceutical-grade cocaine from Merck, and it's claimed that they had it hidden around on stage so they could just do a line when needed. There's a ton of stories about Keith Richards and his shenanigans. Bowie was known to take ungodly amounts of cocaine. You can see in some pictures from that time how thin and gaunt he looks. He even had Mick Jagger worried. The quickest way to the heart actually is through the stomach. According to archaeological evidence, the Aztecs basically discovered through their years of sacrificing people that it's way quicker to cut open the stomach and then go up and under the rib cage to cut the heart out, rather than trying to break open the ribs to get through them. They could apparently get someone's heart out this way in only a few seconds, and there are accounts of sacrifices where multiple thousands of people had their hearts cut out in a single day, which would take forever if they didn't know the quickest method. The earliest known reference to a vending machine is in the work of Hero of Alexandria, an engineer and mathematician in 1st century Roman Egypt. His machine accepted a coin and then dispensed holy water. When the coin was deposited, it fell upon a pan attached to a lever. The lever opened a valve which let some water flow out. The pan continued to tilt with the weight of the coin until it fell off, at which point a counterweight snapped the lever up and turned off the valve. Neat. The world's first commercially produced oil well was drilled in Titusville, Pennsylvania. Cole Drake stuck oil at 69.5 feet, and this ushered in the oil boom of the late 1860s. He died penniless because he never patented his method of drilling. Edit: there is an oil well just south of the Drake well called McClintock No. 1. It's the world's oldest continuously producing oil well. It produces about a barrel a year, but I was told it mostly pumps up brine water. Speaking of flying and fun shipping facts, so when checking luggage on a commercial flight in the U.S., the locks have to be TSA certified, which means that they possess a master key and can open up your luggage for inspection. If you don't use an TSA certified lock, they can and will cut your locks for inspection. Unfortunately, inspectors and others behind the scenes have been known to have sticky fingers, and it's not uncommon for things to go missing during inspections or other times where it is out of direct control. The exception to this rule is if you are flying with a checked firearm. You are specifically not allowed to use TSA locks. You have to declare it at the counter. They inspect it in your presence if necessary, and add special tags and tracking to make sure, for the most part, that it remains under direct control. It's not foolproof, but it's taken much more seriously than general luggage. No one wants the headache and paperwork of a gun going missing, because you know they are going to investigate that. Well, a while back some people, mostly professional photographers and people flying with very expensive check gear, noticed that the regulation also applied to starter pistols, even though most places didn't consider them actual firearms. So they started including a starter pistol with their gear and declaring it so they could use the special handling channel, all without having to deal with actually carrying a real gun to places where that might not be kosher. Who do you contact to record this exceptional poop? There were a couple of times when I thought I needed to make an official record and didn't know who to call. 911 was not pleased. How do you poop and ate poop without breaking it? Did he walk down the hallway? How do we know that this record holder didn't poop 4 poops? Can our body even hold an 8 poop? Is this extraordinary poop preserved somewhere? Is it in the Smithsonian or did they build a theme park around it? So many questions. I've been waiting for my time to shine. You have erectile tissue in your nose. Orcas are the biggest natural predators of moose. There is a psychological disorder in which people believe they are a cow and it's called boanthropy. A wood frog can hold its pee for up to 8 months. If you keep a goldfish in the dark, it will lose its color and become white. You can actually dig to China from Argentina. The Mona Lisa doesn't have eyebrows. There is a kind of psychologist called a wealth psychologist that specializes in helping wealthy people deal with immense guilt or not being emotionally able to cope with being rich. A single spaghetti noodle is called a spaghetto. A Polish doctor faked a typhus outbreak in order to prevent Nazis. The youngest pope was only 11 years old. A man once filmed 7 episodes of a soap opera in IKEA without getting caught. The opera. Pigs will eat the entire human body except for the teeth. When cremating a body, if you don't remove the teeth, they will pop like popcorn. Thank you. Don't use household candles for wax play. Ordinary paraffin wax melts at 70 degrees Celsius, which is hot enough to cause serious burns. If you really want to try it out, you need to buy specialty low-temperature candles that only melt at 45 degrees Celsius. There's other things too, about how to properly prepare someone's skin to protect the downy hair all over the body, or how to vary the intensity and interval of the heat, but most people stop me before I even get that far. In the state of Pennsylvania, there are the towns of Intercourse, Climax, Paradise, and Blue Ball. No joke. These are the actual names of those towns, and they are all with range of each other. But what makes it even more epic is that the locals use this humor for their tourism advertising. To get to Paradise, you have to start at Intercourse and drive through Climax, but if you hit Blue Ball you have gone too far. I only remember this because my dad bought a t-shirt that had this written on the back. Could be worse. Al has a law against buying any dildos or other sex toys. You can own them, but it's illegal to sell them. So yeah, specifically it prohibits any person to knowingly distribute, possess with intent to distribute, or offer or agree to distribute any obscene material or any device designed or marketed as useful primarily for the stimulation of human genital organs for anything of pecuniary value. A botfly egg can land on your skin and implant within a fraction of a second. If one hits you in the eye, it is possible that it can implant the egg under your eyelid so your eye incubates and subsequently feeds the growing larva. I know this because I have removed one from the underside of an eyelid before from a patient with a recalcitrant eyelid infection. It may have extra vectors. Similarly, the longest 10-yard voice of Mickey Mouse, Al Wine, was married to longtime Minnie Mouse voice actress, Brucey Taylor. Fun fact about Twain: Al Wine, Jim Cummings, he was also the voice of Winnie the Pooh, and used to call sick kids in the hospital in character to cheer them up. Conflated 2 voice actors. I'm sure Wayne Al Wine was nice to sick kids too. Koalas are the most alien of all mammals on the planet. They have 2 thumbs on each hand, 3 vaginas, spend most of their lives asleep, and evolved to only eat one plant that has no nutritional value. They also eat their mother's poop. A commenter told me that they do not get high off of eucalyptus, and it turned out to be true, but this still means the animal is dumb enough to eat it. Technically it's asphyxiation, and any inert gas is just as painless, for example nitrogen, helium, argon etc., as the human body doesn't detect a lack of oxygen, rather a high carbon dioxide level. So if you carry on breathing out CO2 while not inhaling oxygen, as you would if inhaling inert gas, you just feel tired then black out. If you are not moved to fresh air quickly, you'll die. No pain, just sudden drowsiness and nothingness. Source: many lab health and safety courses, specifically ones about using liquid nitrogen. The U.S. lost 65 nuclear weapons during the Cold War and had specific names for the situations. E.G. An empty quiver was a weapon that had been lost or stolen. The U.S. too intentionally released radiation into the local environment from the Hanford nuclear site in the Green Run in 1949, which lent Call of Duty the name for the map and location for Transit and Black Ops 2. Rats are bisexual by nature and females will have group orgies with ecother when in heat. Edit, thanks for the reward. Also, of fucking course rat orgies would be my biggest hit. I will now bring you more interesting rat facts. Forgive the mobile formatting. We'll fix later. Males' balls can take up 10% of their entire mass. There was a study where they put females in lingerie and accustomed the males to it to the point they only saw the lingerie-wearing rats as suitable mates. Rats can give in to peer pressure and eat things they don't like if everyone else is eating it. Rats cannot burp or vomit. With the amount of people killing pest rats by poison, they are creating bigger, smarter, poison-resistant mutant rats. When I explained that artificial banana flavoring tastes off because it was formulated to taste like the Gros Michel banana. Bananas as we know them have been bred to a point of genetic similarity that means they may as well be clones. This ensures a consistent product, but it also opens banana populations up to illness. The weakness of one banana becomes the weakness of them all. So when a fungal illness struck, the Gros Michel was wiped out. Were it not for the Cavendish banana, we would be banana-less, and we still eat the less sweet Cavendish banana to this day. However, all is not well in Banana Kingdom. Seemingly having learned nothing, we still make bananas too genetically similar to one another, tempting the same fate suffered by the Gros Michel. Edit, there was more to this than I knew. Please read the rest of the comments people have added. It really expanded my awareness and I learned more. There's a biological reason behind a lot of people's foot fetishes. Sure, some of them probably come from strange childhood experiences, but in a lot of cases, it's physiological. The part of the brain that deals with sexual stuff and the part of the brain that responds to feet are right next to each other, and sometimes there's an overlap, meaning signals meant for the foot department can end up among sexual associations. For some people, this happens consistently. If you look at a foot and the sex part of your brain gets activated, congratulations, you have a foot fetish because of biology. In the 1700s they used to rent out pineapples for hundreds of dollars. People would parade their pineapple around the streets flexing on the peasants that couldn't afford to rent a pineapple. Edit, seeing as this as a couple of updates, here's an article where you can learn about the bizarre history of pineapples as a high fashion status symbol. https://www.mentalfloss.com/article/65506/super looks history pineapples and why they used cost 8,000. Your eyes can't track horizontally smoothly, unless you're tracking a moving object. Then it looks smooth. They move to different points and your brain adds a motion blur to reduce the effect. You can see this by trying to smoothly look from side to side on a wall. You should see little skips. You can see this in other people easier. Also your eyes roll in your head and stay upright/stay level to a certain point when you tilt your head. You can actually go look in a mirror and sorta see the effect. Some monarch butterflies migrate 4,000 kilometers from Canada to Mexico, and back, every year, and they have paths and station that they use recurringly. When migrating over Lake Superior, Canada/US, they don't follow a straight line. When they fly over it they go south for a while, then at some point suddenly turn east. Some scientists think that they follow a route that goes around a mountain that existed in the past and has disappeared a long time ago. They've never unlearned the existence of the mountain, because they follow the same route every year. There doesn't seem to be a scientific consensus regarding where the memory is for that route or how they know where they are.